What if I told you that 5 simple lines spoken to yourself each morning could completely transform your life? It sounds too simple to be true, but the most successful men and women throughout history have understood this secret. Your morning thoughts determine your day. Your daily thoughts determine your life. And yet most people begin their mornings by filling their minds with worries, news headlines, and social media, poisoning their potential before the day even begins. Today I'm going to share 5 powerful affirmations that, when spoken with conviction each morning, can fundamentally reshape your mind and circumstances. These aren't empty phrases, they're mental tools used by some of the wealthiest and most accomplished individuals of the 20th. I discovered these affirmations in a dusty, leather-bound book written nearly 100 years ago. The author interviewed over 500 of the most successful people of his time, spending 20 years researching the habits that separated extraordinary achievers from ordinary men. These 5 morning declarations appeared repeatedly in the daily routines of these titans of industry and thought. But first, we must understand why your morning thoughts matter so profoundly. The human mind is most receptive in those first waking moments. Your subconscious, which has been active during sleep, is particularly open to suggestion. The thoughts you plant in these golden minutes will grow throughout your day, influencing every decision, interaction, and opportunity. The problem of negative auto-suggestion. Most people begin their day with what we might call negative auto-suggestion. They wake up and immediately think, I didn't get enough sleep. I don't want to go to work. I don't have enough time. I'm not prepared for today's challenges. These thoughts seem innocent enough. After all, they're just passing feelings, aren't they? But herein lies the grave mistake that keeps multitudes chained to mediocrity. Your thoughts are not merely observations about reality, they are the very architects of your reality. When you speak or think a statement repeatedly, it sinks into the subconscious mind, which accepts it as fact and begins reorganizing your perceptions and actions to align with this truth. The average person unwittingly practices negative auto-suggestion thousands of times daily. Is it any wonder then that their circumstances fail to improve despite their conscious desires for something better? The mind cannot move in 2 directions simultaneously. It cannot build success while being programmed for failure. It cannot attract abundance while fixating on scarcity. This conflict between conscious wishes and subconscious programming is the hidden cause of frustration for countless souls who wonder why their efforts yield such meager returns. But there is a solution, elegant in its simplicity yet profound in its effect. By deliberately choosing the thoughts you plant in your mind each morning, you can redirect the awesome power of your subconscious toward your desired ends. Now let us examine the 5 morning declarations that can realign your mental forces toward achievement and fulfillment. Line 1. Today I am the master of my thoughts. The first declaration, today I am the master of my thoughts, contains within it the seed of all personal power. This single statement, when uttered with conviction each morning, establishes you as the sovereign ruler of your mental kingdom. Consider, if you will, the terrible price paid by those who surrender mastery of their thoughts to circumstance, to impulse, or to the suggestions of the crowd. They drift as rudderless ships upon a tumultuous sea, driven hither and yon by winds of chance. Their destiny lies not in their own hands, but in the mercy of external forces. Such need not be your fate, dear reader. The Creator has endowed you with the divine gift of thought control. While you cannot prevent passing impressions from entering the antechamber of your mind, you possess the absolute right to determine which shall remain to influence your action. When you declare, today I am the master of my thoughts, you assert this natural dominion. You recognize that your thoughts are not wild horses that cannot be tamed, but faithful servants awaiting your command. Like the skilled conductor who brings order to an orchestra, you direct each mental instrument toward harmony rather than discord. The mastery of thought represents the highest form of self-discipline. All other forms, control of appetite, of speech, of temper, flow from this primary regulation of the mind. He who cannot govern his thoughts cannot govern his destiny. For thoughts precede and determine all action. Observe how the men and women of achievement in every field maintain this vigilant mastery. Thomas Edison, when asked the secret of his remarkable inventiveness, replied, "I never permit myself to think of failure. not even for a moment. Andrew Carnegie attributed his rise from poverty to great wealth largely to his habit of directing his thoughts toward his definite chief aim, rather than allowing them to scatter in 100 directions. This mental mastery operates through a principle which might be called the law of dominant thought. Whatever thought you hold most frequently in consciousness tends to manifest in your character and circumstances. The dominant thought becomes the dominant reality. By asserting your mastery each morning, you position yourself to select the thoughts that shall dominate your day. Many individuals mistakenly believe they are at the mercy of their emotions. I cannot help feeling anxious, they say, or I naturally worry about such matters. This represents profound ignorance of mental law. Emotion follows thought as surely as thunder follows lightning. Change the thought, and the emotion must change accordingly. To declare today I am the master of my thoughts establishes a critical distinction between the thinker and the thought. You are not your thoughts, you are the master who selects, examines, nurtures, or dismisses them. This separation creates the mental leverage necessary for transformation. The practical application of this declaration manifests throughout your day. When a thought of worry appears, you recognize it not as an inevitable reaction, but as a suggestion which you as master may reject. When doubt arises, you identify it not as truth, but as a mental pattern which you as sovereign may replace with confidence. Through consistent practice of this declaration, you develop what might be termed mental muscle. Just as the physical body strengthens through exercise, the faculty of thought mastery grows through daily application. What begins as conscious effort gradually becomes habitual control. Those who have never attempted thought mastery often dismiss it as impossible. One cannot control what one thinks, they insist. This belief, while common, contradicts both ancient wisdom and modern psychology. The mind, like any other faculty, responds to direction. What appears impossible to the novice becomes natural to the practiced master. The power of this declaration increases when uttered aloud. The spoken word carries authority that the silent thought may lack. When your own ears hear your voice declaring mastery, both conscious and subconscious minds register the command with greater impact. As you practice this affirmation, you may initially encounter resistance. Long-established thought patterns do not surrender territory without struggle. Doubts may arise. Is such mastery truly possible? Am I deceiving myself? Recognize these as the protests of mental habits threatened with displacement. Persistence will overcome this initial resistance. The mastery of thought represents not only a practical advantage, but a moral imperative. To relinquish control of your mind means surrendering the divine gift of free will. You abdicate your rightful position as captain of your soul. No external circumstance can force this surrender. It occurs only through ignorance or neglect of your inherent power. When you declare, "Today I am the master of my thoughts," you claim your rightful mental inheritance. You step into the role nature intended for you. You accept responsibility for your mental environment, recognizing that no one else can or should control this sacred domain. The practical benefits of thought mastery extend beyond emotional states into physical well-being. Medical science increasingly confirms what philosophers have long taught. The body responds to the mind's direction. Thoughts of peace promote health. Thoughts of conflict create tension. As master of your thoughts, you become to a remarkable degree the architect of your physical condition. The declaration of thought mastery represents your declaration of mental independence. No longer will you be enslaved by random impressions, negative suggestions, or the contagious fears of others. You stand sovereign in your mental kingdom, determining which influences shall pass through the gates of consciousness. This sovereignty brings responsibility. As master of your thoughts, you cannot blame circumstances, conditions, or other people for your mental states. You recognize that while you cannot always control what happens to you, you maintain absolute authority over how you think about what happened. Through daily practice of this declaration, you develop what might be called a mental switchboard. When negative thoughts arise, you learn to redirect the current of consciousness toward constructive channels. This redirection occurs not through strain or willpower, but through the calm authority of the master who knows his rightful domain. Today I am the master of my thoughts. With these 7 words, you claim your birthright of mental self-determination. You establish the foundation upon which all achievement, all happiness, all progress must rest. You declare yourself not victim but victor, not subject but sovereign, not servant but master of the most magnificent power ever entrusted to human beings, the power of directed thought. Line 2. I meet this day with faith, not fear. The second affirmation, I meet this day with faith, not fear, establishes the emotional climate in which you will conduct the business of living. This powerful declaration positions you to attract favorable circumstances through the magnetic quality of expectant confidence. Fear and faith represent opposite poles of human consciousness. They cannot simultaneously occupy the same mind. Like darkness and light, when one enters, the other must depart. In declaring your choice of faith over fear, you activate mental forces that literally transform your experience of reality. Consider how fear operates upon the human mind. It contracts perception, narrowing your vision to focus exclusively upon danger. It paralyzes initiative, causing hesitation when decisive action is required. It distorts judgment, magnifying problems beyond their true proportion. It depletes energy, directing vital force toward anxiety rather than achievement. Faith, by contrast, expands perception, enabling you to recognize opportunity invisible to the fearful eye. It mobilizes action, providing the confidence necessary for bold initiative. It clarifies judgment, allowing accurate assessment of challenges. It conserves energy, channeling vital force toward productive endeavor rather than needless worry. The world's great achievers universally exhibit this quality of faith. Henry Ford maintained unwavering faith in his vision of affordable automobiles despite repeated financial setbacks and technical obstacles. Helen Keller transformed her devastating disabilities through faith in her capacity for growth and contribution. Their external circumstances offered ample justification for fear, yet they chose faith instead. This choice of faith over fear operates through definite mental laws. The mind moves toward its dominant thought. Direct your thought persistently toward negative possibilities, and your mental faculties automatically mobilize to discover supporting evidence, creating a cycle of increasing apprehension. Direct your thought toward positive expectations, and these same faculties gather evidence confirming your faith, generating a cycle of growing confidence. Many mistakenly believe that circumstances determine whether one feels fear or faith. When conditions improve, they say, then I shall have confidence. This inverts the proper order. Conditions respond to mental states far more than mental states respond to conditions. Faith must precede improvement, not follow it. The declaration, I meet this day with faith, not fear, acknowledges an essential truth. Both fear and faith concern the future, not the present. Both project current trends forward in time. Fear projects negative trends toward disaster. Faith projects the possibility of positive resolution. Since both address unrealized possibilities, faith proves just as logical as fear and infinitely more productive. When you choose faith over fear, you align yourself with a fundamental principle of achievement. Energy flows where attention goes. Direct your attention toward fearful possibilities and your energy diminishes. Direct your attention toward faithful expectancy, and your energy expands. This energy differential alone explains much of the gap between the accomplished and the mediocre. The practical application of this declaration manifests in your response to daily challenges. When you receive concerning news, you automatically ask, what opportunity might this situation contain? When you encounter obstacles, you instinctively seek the advantage hidden within the difficulty. This habit of finding the beneficial aspect of every circumstance builds upon itself, creating what might be called a positive momentum. Faith should not be confused with unreasoning optimism. True faith acknowledges difficulties but maintains confidence in ultimate good outcome. It sees the stones in the path but focuses on the destination. It recognizes problems but emphasizes solutions. This balanced perception allows realistic assessment without surrendering to hopelessness. The habitual practice of meeting each day with faith gradually rewires your nervous system. What begins as conscious choice becomes subconscious pattern. Your entire physical organism responds differently to life's challenges. Where once your heart raced with anxiety, you now experience the calm alertness of confident expectation. Where once your muscles tensed with worry, you now maintain the relaxed readiness of assured capability. This declaration proves particularly powerful during periods of apparent defeat or setback. In such moments, the average person surrenders to fear, interpreting temporary failure as permanent condition. The exceptional individual maintains faith through adversity, recognizing that circumstances are fluid rather than fixed, and that persistent faith eventually influences external conditions. Consider the remarkable testimony of those who have endured imprisonment, illness, or financial collapse without surrendering to fear. They report that faith served not merely as emotional comfort but as practical advantage, enabling them to recognize options and opportunity invisible to the fearful mind. Their experiences confirm that faith represents not wishful thinking, but clear vision. The impact of this declaration extends beyond your individual experience to affect those around you. Fear, like all negative emotions, proves highly contagious. One fearful individual can infect an entire group with apprehension. Faith demonstrates equal contagiousness. By maintaining faithful expectancy, you elevate not only your own experience, but the experiences of all who contact your confident spirit. I meet this day with faith, not fear. With these simple words, you set the emotional compass of your day toward possibility rather than problem, opportunity rather than obstacle, confidence rather than concern. You choose the mental state that attracts favorable circumstances while creating internal conditions for happiness regardless of external events. You declare yourself a person of faith, not blind faith, but reasonable confidence in the ultimate triumph of constructive effort. Line 3. I am grateful for what I have while working for what I want. The third declaration, I am grateful for what I have while working for what I want, harmonizes two seemingly contradictory mental states: contentment with present circumstances and determination to create better conditions. This balanced perspective generates a powerful psychological advantage unavailable to those who focus exclusively on either present gratitude or future ambition. Consider first the remarkable power of gratitude. When you direct your attention toward the good already present in your life, you activate what might be termed the abundance mentality. This mental state recognizes that despite inevitable challenges, your life contains countless blessings deserving appreciation. This recognition creates receptivity to further good, opening your mind to opportunities that remain invisible to the chronically dissatisfied. Many individuals, while claiming to desire greater success, maintain mental attitudes of perpetual dissatisfaction. When I achieve my next goal, they tell themselves, then I shall be content. But this conditional happiness remains forever in the future, creating a subtle ingratitude that actually repels the prosperity they seek. Their mental state communicates to the subconscious mind, nothing is ever enough. This message generates perpetual striving without fulfillment. The practice of gratitude corrects this self-defeating pattern. By acknowledging the good already manifest in your life, you communicate to your deeper mind, I recognize and appreciate abundance. This recognition magnetizes further abundance through the operation of mental law. Like attracts like. The grateful mind attracts additional reasons for gratitude. Yet gratitude alone, without aspiration, may lead to passive acceptance of limiting conditions. Some individuals, in their laudable pursuit of contentment, surrender the driving energy of ambition. They mistake complacency for gratitude, acceptance of limitation for philosophical detachment. This represents an equal but opposite imbalance. The second element of this declaration, while working for what I want, maintains the forward momentum essential to fulfillment. The human spirit naturally seeks expansion. Your desires for improvement represent not greed or materialism, but the soul's innate urge toward greater expression. To deny this expansive impulse creates internal conflict as surely as does chronic dissatisfaction. The balanced perspective recognizes that gratitude and ambition need not conflict. Indeed, they complement each other perfectly. Gratitude provides emotional fulfillment in the present. Ambition provides direction for future growth. Gratitude keeps you connected to current blessings. Ambition prevents stagnation and limitation. Together, they create a poised consciousness that neither desperately grasps for more nor passively accepts less than your potential. This balanced state operates according to definite psychological principles. The mind set simultaneously on gratitude and growth sends a specific message to the subconscious: I appreciate abundance while expecting continued expansion. This dual mental state harmonizes the principles of appreciation and aspiration, creating a uniquely effective mindset for achievement. Consider the practical application of this declaration. When you encounter good fortune, you express genuine gratitude while recognizing opportunities for further advancement. When you experience setbacks, you maintain appreciation for continuing blessings while working constructively to improve conditions. This balanced response prevents both complacency in success and despair in temporary failure. The most successful individuals throughout history have maintained precisely this dual consciousness. They expressed sincere gratitude for their opportunities while working tirelessly to expand their achievements. They gave thanks for their current resources while employing those resources toward greater accomplishment. They celebrated progress already made while maintaining clear vision of further possibilities. This declaration, I am grateful for what I have while working for what I want, requires particular attention to your emotional state. Mere intellectual assent proves insufficient. You must feel genuine gratitude for present blessings while simultaneously experiencing the motivating energy of aspiration. This emotional harmony creates the magnetic mentality that attracts both appreciation of the present and achievement of future goals. The practical benefits of this balanced perspective extend beyond psychological satisfaction to material advantage. Gratitude reduces anxiety, creating mental clarity that recognizes opportunities. Aspiration generates energy, providing motivation to seize those opportunities. Their combined effect produces a state of relaxed alertness, particularly conducive to achievement. Furthermore, this balanced state prevents the common error of postponed happiness. Many strivers tell themselves, once I reach my goal, then I'll enjoy life. This conditional happiness perpetually recedes into the future, creating a joyless pursuit of joy. By maintaining present gratitude alongside future aspiration, you extract fulfillment from the journey itself, rather than deferring satisfaction until some future milestone. This mental balance also prevents attachment to specific outcomes. When your happiness depends upon achieving exact results in precise ways, you become vulnerable to disappointment and frustration. The grateful yet aspiring mind maintains direction without rigid attachment, allowing circumstances to unfold naturally while maintaining forward momentum. I am grateful for what I have while working for what I want. With these words, you establish the mental equilibrium that enables you to appreciate abundance without complacency and pursue advancement without desperation. You claim the psychological advantage of simultaneous contentment and aspiration. You declare yourself neither slave to desire nor prisoner of circumstance, but master of the balanced mind that attracts both present happiness and future achievement. The fourth declaration, I transmute every obstacle into a stepping stone, contains within it the secret of turning adversity to advantage. This powerful affirmation elevates you from victim of circumstance to alchemist of experience, capable of extracting benefit from apparent misfortune. Consider the profound implication of the word transmute. Unlike mere endurance or acceptance of obstacles, transmutation involves fundamental transformation of the obstacle's essential nature. As the ancient alchemists sought to transform base metals into gold, you declare your power to transform problems into opportunities, obstacles into advantages, setbacks into comeback. This capacity for transmutation distinguishes history's greatest achievers from ordinary strivers. When Thomas Edison's laboratory burned to the ground, destroying years of irreplaceable research, he remarked, "All our mistakes have been burned up. Now we can start fresh." Within 3 weeks, he had established new facilities and resumed his work with renewed insight. He transmuted catastrophic loss into fresh beginning. Helen Keller transmuted the devastating obstacles of blindness and deafness into the very foundation of her remarkable contribution. The very conditions that might have relegated her to helpless dependency became instead the platform for her inspiring message of human possibility. Her limitations became her message. The power of transmutation operates through definite mental laws. When you view an obstacle as final defeat, your mental faculties automatically seek evidence confirming this assessment. You notice similar failures, recall past disappointments, and gather proof of insurmountable difficulty. The obstacle grows in perceived magnitude. When, however, you view the same obstacle as potential advantage, these same mental faculties begin accumulating evidence supporting this perspective. You notice opportunities hidden within the problem, recall past instances of triumph through adversity, and gather proof of possible benefit. The obstacle diminishes in perceived threat while increasing in potential value. This declaration, "I transmute every obstacle into a stepping stone," implicitly acknowledges a paradoxical truth. Obstacles often contain greater opportunity for advancement than does smooth sailing. Resistance builds strength. Problems develop resourcefulness. Setbacks inspire innovation. The obstacle itself, properly transmuted, delivers advantages unavailable through any other means. Many individuals pray for lives free from obstacles, not recognizing that such an existence, were it possible, would deprive them of the very conditions necessary for growth. Diamonds require pressure for their formation. Muscles demand resistance for their development. Character needs challenge for its refinement. The absence of obstacles would ensure the absence of strength. The practical application of this declaration manifests in your response to daily difficulty. When unexpected problems arise, you automatically ask, "How can I use this to advance rather than retreat?" When you encounter resistance, you instinctively seek the lesson or advantage contained within it. This habit of finding benefit in adversity constitutes what might be called practical optimism. Not blind positivity, but trained perception of opportunity. This declaration proves particularly powerful during periods of apparent defeat. In such moments, the average person surrenders to discouragement, interpreting temporary setback as permanent condition. The exceptional individual immediately begins the process of transmutation, searching for the equivalent or greater benefit contained within the difficulty. This transmuting perspective often reveals advantages invisible to the defeated mind. Consider how this principle manifests in specific domains of experience. In business, market downturns eliminate weaker competitors while creating opportunities for innovation and market share expansion. In relationships, conflicts properly addressed lead to deeper understanding and stronger bonds. In health, diagnoses often motivate beneficial lifestyle changes that might otherwise be postponed indefinitely. The opportunity for transmutation exists in every adversity. The capacity for transmutation develops through consistent practice. Begin with smaller obstacles, consciously identifying potential benefits within each challenge. As this habit strengthens, apply it to increasingly significant difficulty. Eventually, the transmuting perspective becomes your automatic response to adversity, requiring no conscious effort but emerging spontaneously in the face of obstacle. This declaration, "I transmute every obstacle into a stepping stone," eliminates the deadly emotion of self-pity, which has destroyed more potential achievement than perhaps any other mental state. When you view obstacles as stepping stones rather than barriers, the very concept of victimhood becomes foreign to your consciousness. You recognize yourself not as helpless sufferer but as powerful alchemist, capable of extracting gold from the very circumstances that defeat others. Furthermore, this transmuting perspective generates extraordinary resilience. When difficulties that would crush the average spirit become recognized opportunities for advancement, your recovery from setback occurs with remarkable speed. While others remain paralyzed by disappointment, you move immediately toward discovering the advantage within the apparent defeat. The consistent practice of this declaration gradually rewires your nervous system. Your physiological response to obstacles literally changes. Where once you may have experienced anxiety, tension, and resistance when facing problems, you now feel curiosity, engagement, and even excitement at the opportunity for transmutation. Your entire organism responds differently to challenge. I transmute every obstacle into a stepping stone. With these words, you claim your power as mental alchemist, capable of transforming life's most difficult circumstances into advantages. You declare yourself neither victim of fate nor prisoner of circumstance, but master of the transmuting mind that recognizes opportunity where others see only obstacle. Line 5, I have a definite purpose and an unshakable faith in my ability to attain it. The fifth declaration, I have a definite purpose and an unshakable faith in my ability to attain it, addresses the most fundamental requirement for outstanding achievement. This powerful affirmation establishes both clear direction and absolute confidence, the twin pillars upon which all great accomplishment rests. Consider first the transformative power of definite purpose. Without clear aim, human energy dissipates in random activity, producing minimal results despite maximum effort. The rivers that power mighty industries do not meander aimlessly across flat plains but flow with concentrated force through definite channels. So too with human energy, directed towards specific objectives, it becomes irresistible. Observe how purposeful individuals differ from the directionless majority. While others drift from one activity to another according to circumstance or impulse, the purpose-driven move steadily toward their objectives, allowing neither distraction nor discouragement to divert their course. While others scatter their efforts across dozens of interests, achieving mediocrity in many but mastery in none, the purposeful concentrate their forces upon their dominant aim, achieving distinction through specialization. Nature demonstrates this principle through countless examples. The diffused light of the sun gently warms the earth, but that same light, focused through a lens, generates sufficient heat to kindle fire. The scattered waters of a flood merely soak the landscape, but those same waters, channeled through a turbine, produce enormous power. Throughout creation, concentration multiplies effectiveness. The declaration of definite purpose establishes several practical advantages. It provides criteria for decision-making, enabling quick evaluation of opportunities according to their relevance to your dominant aim. It generates persistence through inevitable obstacles, maintaining your momentum when lesser motivation would surrender to difficulty. It attracts assistance from others who resonate with your clearly articulated objective. It eliminates the energy drain of uncertainty, replacing confusion with direction. Yet purpose alone without confidence in your ability to achieve it remains merely wishful thinking. Hence the second element of this declaration, and an unshakable faith in my ability to attain it. This faith provides the emotional fuel that powers achievement, transforming purpose from abstract goal to practical accomplishment. Many individuals establish worthy aims but sabotage their efforts through persistent doubt. They proceed hesitantly, questioning their capabilities, anticipating failure, mentally rehearsing defeat. Their actions reflect their uncertainty, lacking the decisiveness and persistence necessary for significant achievement. Though they move in the right direction, their doubtful expectation of failure creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The declaration of unshakable faith corrects this self-defeating pattern. By affirming confidence in your ability, you communicate to your subconscious mind, success is not merely possible, but inevitable. This expectant faith generates several specific advantages: increased energy, heightened creativity, improved perception of opportunity, greater resilience through temporary setbacks. The entire organism functions more effectively under the influence of confident expectation. This faith is not blind self-delusion, but reasoned confidence based on understanding your inherent capabilities. Every human mind possesses untapped resources far exceeding those typically employed. When you declare faith in your ability, you are not claiming superhuman powers, but rather acknowledging the extraordinary potential that lies dormant within all men and women. The practical application of this declaration manifests in your daily approach to your purpose. When you encounter obstacles, your unshakable faith enables you to perceive them as temporary rather than terminal. When you experience setbacks, your confident expectation of ultimate success maintains your momentum. When you face criticism or doubt from others, your self-faith provides immunity to their negative suggestions. The most successful individuals throughout history have combined exactly these qualities of definite purpose and unshakable faith. They established clear objectives that remained fixed despite shifting circumstances. They maintained absolute confidence in their ability to achieve these objectives despite temporary failure. This dual consciousness of direction and faith enabled them to persist through difficulties that would have defeated less purposeful, less confident strivers. This declaration, "I have a definite purpose and an unshakable faith in my ability to attain it," requires particular attention to your emotional state while speaking the words. Mere intellectual assent proves insufficient. You must feel the clarity that comes from definiteness of purpose, experiencing the emotional satisfaction of knowing precisely what you intend to accomplish. Simultaneously, you must feel the quiet confidence that accompanies faith in your ability, experiencing the assurance of eventual achievement. When this declaration becomes your dominant consciousness, it produces remarkable changes in your thinking and behavior. Activities that previously seemed difficult become manageable. Obstacles that once appeared insurmountable become temporary challenges. Criticisms that might have discouraged you now seem irrelevant to your purpose. Your entire being organizes around your definite aim, mobilizing resources previously dormant or misdirected. Furthermore, this purposeful confidence proves highly attractive to others. People naturally gravitate toward those who know where they're going and expect to arrive. Your clear purpose and unshakable faith draw supporters, collaborators, and mentors who resonate with your direction and confidence. Their assistance multiplies your effectiveness, accelerating your progress toward your objective. I have a definite purpose and an unshakable faith in my ability to attain it. With these words, you establish the foundation for remarkable achievement. You declare yourself neither aimless wanderer nor doubtful striver, but purposeful creator with both clear direction and absolute confidence. You claim the dual advantage that transforms mere wishing into actual accomplishment, mere potential into tangible achievement.